Hello, everyone. If you're watching the replay, please bear with me while everyone jumps on. I am doing a channeled message from Archangel Haniel about solitude and the self. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. For those of you whom don't know, the VIP group for the Magical VIP group will be closing at the end of February. You can join that in my link in bio or the link in the description if you are watching this on YouTube. What else? We have restocked some of the magical spelled candles in my shop. So if you would like to grab one of those, you can in my link in bio or link in the description. And the tarot course is also up and open and there is a special promotion on it for Valentine's Day. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can do so in my link in bio again, or link in the description. Not currently offering readings for a few months. I will let you guys know if and when I'm offering readings. And you can still book a spiritual consultation to see what your blockages are and what spirit suggests to clear your spiritual path. All right. So I was about to go to sleep, and because I have a very early morning tomorrow, I was about to go to sleep, and I said a question to myself. I was like, I felt really good today, and I've been noticing a lot lately that I have started to enjoy being in solitude, being with my own thoughts, with my own feelings, and just more and more and more and more starting to feel more happy in my solitude. And for someone like me, that's a big deal because A, I'm a Sagittarius and a masculine sign. And B, I grew up in a very big family, so I always associated being with people as being happy because I come from a big family. But the last couple of days, I've been just spending more time with myself as much as possible. And I've been noticing that I'm happy while I'm alone. More and more and more. And I asked that of myself today as I was falling asleep. I was like, why am I feeling happier now with less people around me? And spirit started to speak, and then I realized it was Archangel Haniel, who is the joy of God. And she said to me, because when you are living in the third dimension, you are very much defined by what your relationships are. So it's kind of like time, right? Or speed. Speed is like miles per hour. So see that relationship there, like miles per hour. So a speed is defined by the relationship of how many miles they can travel in an hour, right? So there's a relationship to everything. Everything is relationships, right? Everything is just, how do you define yourself versus another? How do you define yourself in relation to another? How do you define yourself in relations to what you do for work? How you define your value in relation to how many hours you're working or how much other people get for that. So you are constantly relating yourself. She said to me, when you're in the third dimension, before you awaken, before you go through your healing process, before you've achieved a large amount of healing, you always measure yourself in relation to something else. You're always trying to inch up. You're always trying to add yourself up or subtract yourself depending on others, depending on relations to others, or relations to your work, or relations to your gift, or relations to your life purpose, or your relations, whatever. And she said to me, and when you start to heal and you've actually achieved healing, you find that you stop focusing on this bridge, which is the relation from you to something else, and you turn that bridge inward. And when you turn that bridge inward, it's not a selfish thing. It's something that makes you realize that you do not need others around you to necessarily define you. Instead, it is actually your true self. It is you that you are seeking a relationship with. You have taken all this time to maneuver relationships with others, but then you had failed to actually build that bridge with yourself. And then once you are forced to go through a dark night of the soul, the first time is when you wake up. The second time of a dark night of the soul, like myself, I had a dark night of the soul, and then I had a death and rebirth. That experience caused me to rewrite my Akashic record, and to, in that split second, decide to build a bridge with myself. And then I started to notice that more and more people were starting to fall out of my life. Not just because I cut off certain people, but also I started to notice that Spirit started to remove certain people from my life. Spirit would say, that person is no longer meant to serve you as a mirror for yourself. So now let's allow them to move forward on their own. And I've noticed that I've actually had a lot of people in my personal life start to fall off, and it was a natural transition. And those who were no longer meant to be part of my life, but yet tried to force themselves to be part of my life, felt disingenuous, and it felt forced. And therefore, even if they were the ones that wanted to be part of my life and I didn't really want them there anymore, Spirit would find a way to say, okay, you are done with the lesson with this person, and would move that person out of my life for whatever reason. Because you see, when you take the time to turn that bridge of relation inward, and you go, I'm not going to define myself anymore based on how I relate to someone else. How, based on I'm so-and-so's sister, I am so-and-so's daughter, I am so-and-so's friend, brother, whatever. That relation, when you learn to start building a relationship with yourself, you no longer define yourself by these relations that you have, okay? You are now one again with God and with all of the universe. So you start to feel so whole within yourself that now Spirit starts to place people in your life that are also whole, and that can and you guys can just bounce back and forth. Okay? So your life can just bounce back and forth in this amazing unity, okay? Because you've learned to have a relationship with yourself. Define yourself for only who you are. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am me. And when you start to, this is what Archangel Haniel was explaining to me. She said, when you truly start to define yourself only by what you are, and with the realization that you are everything, and that you are everything in the entire universe within you, you no longer need to define yourself based on your relations. And those relations just naturally fall. And you start to feel happy in the silence. Because now the silence is very clear. It's very much like when you are just with yourself, it becomes very clear why those relations were meant to fade away. Because you've taken the time to build that relationship with yourself and then realized that it was not true to yourself. It was not true. It was not the right vibration for yourself. And it was not true to yourself to define yourself based on relationships that did not vibrate where you are spiritually, emotionally, mentally, health-wise, whatever that is. And then you can stop defining yourself based on what other people say, think, see, perceive, assume of you. So therefore, you no longer have to have worry or sadness or struggle or anger, because those things no longer serve you, because they only serve when you are defining yourself based on what others want you to see you as. This is not just about letting go of relationships. It's about identifying what that person reflects back at you. What about yourself does not vibrate? What about yourself may vibrate that attracted you to this person to begin with? And what about yourself in that person do you see? But do not define yourself based on your relation to that person. There is a Jupiter retrograde in the summer, starting in June, and it runs through October 14th of this year, or October 18th of this year. This Jupiter retrograde is going to be extremely interesting because it will amplify the energy that we started this year with. It will amplify the energy of change in a way where it is a new world that will be created. So this Jupiter retrograde in the summer, the beginning is going to start amplifying all those things that you have. So if you have sadness, it will amplify it. If you have peace, it will amplify it. If you have joy, it will amplify it. If you have anger, it will amplify it. If you have abundance, it will multiply it. If you have love, it will enhance it. Okay? If you have solitude, it may force you into a deeper solitude. Okay? So make sure that you are taking the time between now and Jupiter retrograde. Most astrologers don't believe that Jupiter affects your relationship, but it very much does. So keep in mind that relationship with yourself. Okay, so if you have self-anger, it's going to amplify it. So now is the time to heal yourself and instead of focusing on comparing yourself to others and your relations to others, focus on what is my relation to me? What is my role? How do I define myself based on things that are me and not based on others? A Jupiter retrograde, I believe, starts June 20th or June 10th this year and runs from June, July, August, September, and ends the middle of October. So if you are focused on prosperity, this new moon, if you are focused on healing this new moon, if you're focused on love or whatever it is that is your focus, I would highly suggest focusing on healing your shadows, because when that Jupiter comes along, in the beginning, it will amplify all of the negative things and all of the positive things. But towards the end of the Jupiter retrograde, it is going to amplify all of the healing you have done. So focus on that, because Jupiter is the energy that amplifies. Jupiter is the energy that rules Sagittarius, the sign of adventure and philosophy and overthinking sometimes too. But enthusiasm on the outside and sometimes not so much on the inside. But it's important to take the time to heal yourself, so that when that Jupiter comes around, you're benefiting from its energy and not being harmed by its energy. Jupiter is an extremely, extremely powerful planet for prosperity, for amplification, okay? For abundance. But if you're not ready to receive, Jupiter will not give you anything. Jupiter, if anything, will make you feel like you're missing out on what others are getting. And I believe there's a Mercury retrograde right before that Jupiter retrograde happens. So prepare yourself. 2021, I told you a few weeks ago an Archangel Michael message that said 2021 is going to be a completely different world than you were used to. So don't be surprised if you look up and the world is completely different. It's going to be for a lot of people who are just going to wake up around that time. But don't let it not take us by surprise. Let us start to heal the things, heal the shadows, integrate them in whatever way is the most beneficial to us, and start defining ourselves based on who we are. So that way, when Jupiter comes around and all of the people who just woke up, the fresh awake babies, when they look up and they're going, what the heck just happened? Then we can be a beacon of light to hopefully show them, hey, it's possible to go through this dark night of the soul and to find peace and find prosperity and love and healthy relationships at the end of that tunnel. And they will ask you, well, how do you know? And then you can say, because I've done it and I'm here. And I am that I am. So that's all that I have for you tonight. Many blessings and have a beautiful night. I'm going to sleep now.